Hey, Chaotic Crew, I've got a quick one for you today. A fun new avatar commander coming out. Before we get into it, though, wanted to say that this episode is brought to you by Mana Pool, a fast-growing marketplace for Magic the Gathering that makes buying and selling cards easy. Their optimizer helps you get the best value in buying cards, and the team is focused on making it a great experience for buyers and sellers alike. I know when I went and got a handful of cards there, really enjoyed my experience, so big thanks to Mana Pool for supporting the channel. Now, diving into this avatar deck, of course, you see Momo, Friendly Flier, as the commander here. 1-drop, 1/1. For a legendary Lemur Bat ally with flying. The first non-Lemur creature spell with flying you cast during each of your turns costs 1 less to cast. Whenever another creature you control with flying enters, Momo gets +1/+1 until end of turn. So really fun here. Momo's Big Break is the name of the deck. We care about creatures with flying. We're in mono white. I made a pretty fun casual deck to have with your pod. It's probably not going to win every game, but it will win some games and kind of come out of nowhere in some cases. So I really like what I've done here, and let me know in the comments down below what you would add and what you would take out. But starting off, we have Invasion of Govakhan. Now, hard to see on the screen here, but it's 1 and a white for a siege. Whenever Invasion of Govakhan enters the battlefield, look at target opponent's hand. You may exile a non-land card from it for as long as that card remains exiled. Its owner may play it. A spell cast this way costs 2 more to cast. You're not really playing this for the front side. It is a nice benefit, but you're going to eventually be attacking into it with maybe Momo or something else, and you will be able to flip it over. On the back side, it's Light Shield Array. At the beginning of your end step, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature that attacked this turn. So Momo's going to be attacking a lot. You want it to get bigger and bigger. This is a great way to do that. You can also sacrifice Light Shield Array to give creatures you control hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. So really great there as protection on our creatures. And, might help block some removal spells or board wipes and whatnot. So that's really good there. As far as creatures, I wanted to try and go like a token strategy, but there weren't a lot of token generators that in mono white that made just straight flyers. So I have a few of them here, a couple of the better ones, and then just really strong flyers that we can cast for 1 less once per turn, right? So that's really great there. So Ancient Gold Dragon, kind of the top end of the deck, really only a high-costed card. 7/10 for 7 mana is a lot, but 6 mana is a bit more doable. Flying, whenever Ancient Gold Dragon deals combat damage to a player, roll a d20, you create a number of 1/1 blue fairy dragon creature tokens with flying equal to the result. So this also makes flying stuff, it's a bit counterintuitive, unless you can give it like double strike or first strike or something. Not ideal because it's going to be making those tokens after damage is already dealt, so it's not going to, give Momo the buff that it really wants. If you can get that synergy, you could definitely kill someone immediately with that, but probably not going to happen there. But just good to get a big board, and it's a really strong card. Angelic Field Marshal is great. 4 mana for a 3/3 flying lieutenant, so as long as you control your commander, Angelic Field Marshal gets +2/+2, and creatures you control have vigilance. So giving this +2/+2 is not bad, but really you're just giving all your creatures vigilance. Having Momo have vigilance is nice. Having all your flyers have vigilance, it just makes it really hard to deal damage to you, and is a great deterrent for opponents attacking you as well. Angel of Invention's nice here. It can make 2 tokens, but they don't have flying, so typically just add the counters here with its Fabricate part. It also has flying, vigilance, and lifelink, so it's essentially a 4/3 flying, vigilance, lifelink for 5 mana, or 4 if it's the first flyer, and it also buffs all your other creatures +1/+1. This is pretty good in the deck. We're gonna go a little wide here, so making sure that we have ways to buff all our creatures that are maybe a bit underpowered is really good. So helps give our commander a buff, and when it enters, it'll also give it a buff. So that is pretty nice there. Battle Angels of Tyr, probably the best card in this deck. 4 mana, 4/4 with Myriad, right? Myriad's probably the best aspect of it, just because, it's making those creatures with flying enter. So really strong there. And also, when it deals damage to your opponents, you get great stuff. If you're the person with the least life, you get life. If you have the least cards in hand, draw cards. If you have the least lands, get treasures. It's just a great all-around card. You'll see I also realized I didn't add this card. Aerial Extortionist is in the deck. Aerial Extortionist is a really mean card for your opponents, and I used to have it in a bunch of my decks. Ended up taking it out because a lot of my decks end up either blinking it or just like reusing its effect so many times. That's kind of cancerous, so I try not to play with it. But in a deck that cares about flying, this is really strong, right? So Aerial Extortionist, when it enters or deals damage to a player, exile to one target non-land permanent. For as long as that card remains exiled, its owner may cast it. And whenever another player casts a spell from anywhere other than their hand, you draw a card. So this is good to help get us some card draw, which is great, but it also is kind of temporary-ish removal. So it's really setting your opponent back on tempo if you can get the enter and also get some damage in with this. So it is going to eat up some removal if your opponents are smart. If not, then it's kind of going to run with the game, unfortunately. That's just kind of how it is. So I wanted to add it here because we don't have too much like blink shenanigans or re-enter the battlefield shenanigans. So just wanted to say this is a great card to have in the deck. Cartographer's Hawk is next. Obviously going to help us ramp, and because, you know, if we can cast it for 1 cheaper each turn, that's great. Or if not, 2 mana for a land is just the going rate for ramp. So I really like that a lot here. Pretty great there. Clarion Spirit, when you cast your second spell each turn, create a 1/1 white spirit with flying. So that's just going to give us more flyers. Love that. Maria Angel also will going to give us flyers when we have lands enter, so that's great there. Maria Shepherd's also fantastic, going to bring stuff back from our graveyard, which is, love that. Fireman Commando can help us draw cards. It can also have opponents draw cards, but it also incentivizes them to not attack us, which always a plus there. Speaking of not incentivizing opponents to attack us, Flump is great. When it gets dealt damage, we and an opponent will draw a card. So just a great blocker, great deterrent. Can pay 1 mana for it, turn 2, so I love that. Inspiring Overseer, you know, gains life and draws you a card. So it replaces itself and it's a flyer, so love it in here. Jackdaw Savior, fantastic in flying decks and bird decks and anything like that. Whenever another creature you control with flying dies, return another target creature card with lesser mana value from your graveyard to the battlefield. So that's really good. Kanji's Lieutenant, when it attacks, attacking creatures with flying get +1/+1 until end of turn. Also has Encore, so you could pay 6 mana and get 3 tokens of these out, so buff Momo by 3, and then, you know, when all 3 of them attack, Momo's gonna get another +3, so Momo's gonna have 7 power off of this 1 card, so really love that. Vanguard the Diplomat, not a flyer, but a great card draw, and also helps incentivize opponents from not attacking us. But yeah, good card, and will make some removal rather than Momo, which is always good. Ornithopter of Paradise, yeah, it's just a mana dork that, you know, it becomes a Birds of Paradise with your commander out. Always great. Sage of the Skies is really cool. When you cast a spell, if you cast another spell this turn, you copy it. So it's a 2/3 with flying and lifelink. So love this because it's essentially 3 mana for 2 3s with flying and lifelink, which is going to buff your commander by +2/+2. Plus you've already cast another spell this turn. So yeah, that's nice. This is fun because if you cast it first, you get the discount from Momo, so it's just a 2 mana 2/3 flyer lifelink, which is great. And then if you end up doing the latter and casting it more late game, then it's a, you know, 3 mana for 2 of them. It's really great, so love that there. Scouting Hawk is interesting. It's like a Knight of the White Orchid, kind of. When it enters, if an opponent controls more lands than you, search it for a basic plans card from the battlefield tapped and shuffle. And your commander can make it 1 cheaper, so it costs the same as Knight of the White Orchid. So love that. It's also a bird and a flyer, which helps. Sinu, Keen-Eyed Protector, also fantastic in here. Can gain you some life, scry you cards, and then when a legendary creature you control attacks and isn't blocked, if Sinu's exiled, put it on the battlefield attacking. So if you know that, you know, it's not going to be blocked, then you can go ahead and exile this to scry 2 and then get it back on the battlefield. So love that. Safara Sky Blade, fantastic card. Yeah, pay a white and tap 4 untapped creatures to cast it additionally. 7/7 flying with lifelink gives all our other creatures we control flying and indestructible, so really strong here. Sarah Paragon, a lot of our creatures are cheap, so that's fantastic. Sarah Paragon gets them back on the battlefield, which we love. Sigarda's Vanguard is also really strong. can give our creatures double strike, which is really great for our commander, right? If we can give our commander double strike, can start maybe taking some people out with commander damage. Skyhunter Strike Force, also strong. It has melee, and other creatures are going to have melee as well. So they're going to get +1/+1 for each opponent you attack this combat. So up to 3, right? So that's really good for your commander as well. Sunscorch Regent, fantastic flyer that's going to gain us life and be a big beater later on. So it doesn't take too long for it to get massive either. It's going to be a problem for opponents quickly. Being able to cast it 1 turn earlier with our commander, really strong. And then we have Welcoming Vampire to help draw us some cards. Really great for, when we recast our commander or some of our cheaper spells that we've been showing off. Witch Enchanter is a land, but also can act as a removal piece. Fantastic. And then lastly, Zenith Chronicler, another non-flyer. It's really strong here. Whenever a player casts their first multicolored spell, each other player draws a card. So I haven't really been in pods where this has been played, but on paper, you get to draw cards against a lot of decks. Any deck that has multicolored, commanders, you get to draw cards. It disincentivizes them from doing so, maybe until they can remove the Zenith Chronicler. But some people just don't care and will just give your opponents the draw card as well. So something to think about there. Sorceries, we have 6. We'll get the Stormherd later, but Austere Command is a removal, like board wipe, right? Ascend from Avernus is mass reanimation. Spectral Procession and Battle Screech generate tokens that have flying, and then Cut a Deal is going to help draw us some cards. So that's really good there. Stormherd is fantastic, kind of like a game ender for us, or a person killer. You make X, 1/1 white Pegasus creature tokens with flying, where X is your life total. So typically by the time this is out, you may have like 20 or so life. This makes 20 Pegasus tokens with flying. That buffs your commander +20. So that your commander is killing someone if it can get in. That's kind of the idea. Really strong there. Instance, Chroma's Will can end games. Flare of Fortitude, we're going to have creatures in the battlefield, we'd rather lose 1 than all of them. Flawless Maneuver is great protection as well. Sajiri Shelter can also protect 1 thing. It's also a land, so love that. And then as far as like removal, classic Generous Gift, Path to Exile, Stroke of Midnight, Swords to Plowshares, Thraben Charm can also be removal, or, exile some graveyards. Razorgrass Ambush and Kabir Takedown can be removal, but can also be lands in a pinch, right? Heliod's Intervention, we can gain a bunch of life if we need it, or we can destroy a bunch of artifacts and enchantments, so I love that. Rebuff the Wicked, a 1-mana counter spell that counters a spell that targets a permanent we control. So that's really good. Can't counter like board wipes or anything, but strong there. And then Settle the Wreckage is just great to have to get rid of our opponent's creatures if they have like a like a Voltron deck or something like this. This stops that. So you could also run the Comeuppance as well, but I think Settle the Wreckage is good too. Rally of Wings as well to, I guess, untap all our creatures and have them block, or to put in that little extra oomph to seal out a game. So really good there, and yeah, pretty solid. Arcane Signet, Brotherhood Regalia are staples in here, right? We want our commander to be getting in. Giving our commander Ward 2 and Unblockable is amazing in here, as we want to deal damage. We want to do commander damage. Endless Atlas draws us cards. Goldvein Pick is his treasures. Heraldic Banner buffs our commander, all of our creatures really, and also gives us a mana. Lightning Greaves and Swift Boots give our creatures haste. Mask of Memory helps us draw cards. Oketra's Monument makes our creatures, cost less as well, which is really good. Also gives us some more tokens that are good blockers, or can attack in, but they don't have flying, so they're typically just going to be chump blockers. Pearl Medallion, fantastic in this deck, of course, and then Sword of the Animus to help get some lands out as well. Enchantments, we're running 8 of those bad boys. Chivalric Alliance to draw cards. We also have Takasha's Welcome to draw cards, kind of like Welcoming Vampire. Court of Grace is great to get us a flyer each turn, whether that's a 1/1 Spirit or a 4/4 Angel. Either way, it works for us. Darksteel Mutation is good removal. Flowering of the White Tree buffs all of our creatures, so we'd love to see that. Legion Loyalty gives all of our creatures Myriad. So this is what I was talking about earlier with the Battle Angels of Tyr. All of our creatures having Myriad, it doesn't matter if they're legendary or not, right? Even our commander, if it has Myriad, those creatures are still going to enter and will still trigger Momo and still give us +1/+1 for each creature that did that. So Legion Loyalty is also another, person killer. Someone may die when that happens. So really good there. Love Song of Night and Day is interesting. You and target opponent each draw 2 cards in the first chapter. You can also make a 1/1 bird with a, in the second chapter, and then put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures. So bust your commander, makes a flyer, and can draw cards. You can read ahead. So if you don't want to give your opponent any cards, you can just use this to make a 1/1 bird and then put 2 counters on something the next turn. That's really good too. But obviously, politics is great. So if you can make a deal with someone to give them to draw 2 cards for, getting them off your back, maybe if they're particularly threatening, or that they're going to have a good matchup against you, then that's kind of, you can do that, right? And then, of course, lands 31, but 35, including MDFC, 22 planes, Rogue's Passage, War Room, Scavenger Grounds, Myriad Landscape, Monumental Hinge is nice, if in case we need it. Idyllic Grange is fantastic too, to give a counter on our commander. Minas Tirith, can draw us a card, is nice. Hall of Heliod's Generosity is fantastic. If any of these 8 die, then we can get it back. So that's really great for Dark Mutation, or maybe Love Song of Night and Day since it goes away, or if someone, if we discard Legion of Loyalty early on, Hall of Heliod's Generosity can get it back out. So that's something to consider. And then lastly, a Mary of the Sky Ruin to get back our creatures. So really, really good there. Let's go ahead and play test, shall we? All right, no lands, no colored lands in this 1 mana commander deck. All right, we're going to keep this one. Not bad at all. So we are going to draw for turn 1, play the plains, play the Momo, and pass. So now anything with flying we cast costs 1 less. We can War Room, Gold Vein Pick, swing in with Momo. Turn 3. We could Sarah Paragon, which I don't hate, but we can also Gold Vein Pick, which also buffs our commander by 1. Swing in. Or, sorry, we could tap 3 for Heraldic Banner first, excuse me. Buff our commander. Tap this to attach Gold Vein Pick. Buff our commander. So commanders are now a 3/2. And swing in. Get a treasure. Now, here's the thing. Like, this deck does want to win with commander damage. Like, that's kind of the big thing. But you may not want to be, like, putting the aggro on just one person. I, like to, until you can put massive damage out, I would maybe stick toward, like, spreading the wealth. And that way your opponents can't get too mad at you and don't feel like they need to remove it yet. So that's kind of the idea with this deck. Because it's such an early commander, it becomes an early threat. So something to keep in mind there. Next turn, Battle Angels of Tyr is really great. We do have another plains, so we'll play that. So we have 6 mana to work with. We can pay 3 for Battle Angels and then keep some mana up for Sajiri's Shelter if needed, because we want to save Battle Angels if possible. So I'm going to do that. We're going to tap 1, 2, 3, and then we can also War Room if we want to as well after this Gold Vein hit. But yeah. So obviously this is Magical Fairy Christmas Land, in which none of our things have been removed. Someone could have removed Gold Vein or killed Momo. That's always possible, but here we go to turn 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, we're actually 1 away from Storm. Or no, that's 10 mana. I'm stupid. Let's say someone did try to kill Battle Angels. We Sajiri's Shelter that last turn. So now we can play Sigarda's Vanguard to give our commander double strike, buffing our commander, right, making it a 4/3 until end of turn. Battle Angels of Tyr will attack, making 2 tokens, which will buff our commander, making it a 6/5 until end of turn. That's really strong. With double strike, right? That's really good. I mean, that's gonna deal a lot of damage, and you can attack someone, and then they're like, oh crap, I need to deal with that card. So yeah, Sigardo's Vanguard really great here to put on that pressure. Turn 5 is really when you want to start putting that pressure on. 1 mana hand, I don't like it, so we're gonna restart it. Okay, this works. Turn 1, draw a Welcoming Vampire, love that. Plains and cast our commander. Love it. Turn 2, next turn. Okay, so we could... Lots we could do here. We could play Plains, Sword of the Animist. I think that's the best idea. Swing in for 1. Next, we didn't draw land, so we play the Idyllic Range. Comes in tapped because we don't have a third. Actually, we wait for this. So we'll go ahead and equip the Sword of the Animist. So our commander's now a 2/2. Swing in. We're gonna get a Plains. As if anyone was unaware. Then we play the... Oh, I guess I could have played this. But it always comes in tapped, so not ideal. Then we'll play the Idyllic Range. Right? Main phase 2, buff our commander. Let's move these down here. So now we have 4 mana. Commander's a 3/3. We can... if there's another ramp piece, now is the time to also get Scouting Hawk out, because we want to make sure we can get the value for getting more ramp. So, Welcoming Vampire into Scouting Hawk. Well, that doesn't really work because we only have 4 mana to work with. So, yeah, maybe Scouting Hawk just doesn't work a whole lot right now. So, instead, Welcoming Vampire into Swiftfoot Boots, I think, makes sense too. Then we can play the Kabira Takedown as a land. Or not, we could just keep getting lands with Momo. But yeah, a couple different things we could do here. Let's try that. Welcoming Vampire and Swifties. We'll flip this and put this on the battlefield. And of course, that makes our commander a 4/4. Swing in for 4. View library. Grab the Plains. Okay. Next turn. Not bad, not bad. If someone has a lands deck, it's possible they have more lands than us. I doubt it. But we can always play Scouting Hawk and then Sage of the Skies. First, I do want to pay 1 to Swifties our commander. Our commander's in a spot now where we really want our commander to stay alive. And having that protection is really nice. Then we can tap 1 for Ornithopter. I guess it doesn't matter, since Scouting Hawk costs more. We'll do Scouting Hawk. Tap 3 for Sage of the Skies, which makes a copy of itself. Yep, copy. So that's going to give our commander +3. So now our commander is 7 power. Oh, we're also drawing a card off of when Scouting Hawk enters. Swing 7 in the air. So our commander is getting really strong here. Can potentially Ornithopter Paradise a Chromazul next turn to kill someone. So you may want to hold off on that. Obviously, it's possible someone board wipes because our board's getting kind of scary. We could also hold up a Chromazul to save against the board wipe. So we're going to just play it, cut a deal next turn or something. So not bad, not bad. Really strong deck. Really fun deck, I think. I think this goes in a different direction, and your friends aren't going to expect it. So I definitely would recommend this deck to people. I might even build it myself, right? Pretty fun, I would say. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the deck tech. Don't forget to check out our Mana Pool affiliate link in the description. We're going to be doing a video soon on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle commander deck, so make sure to keep an eye out for that. And then as well, make sure to like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more deck techs or gameplay videos, or even potentially giveaways in the future. So make sure to do that and become a channel member so you get an extra chance when we do those giveaways. Awesome. Well, thanks so much. I'll be back next week, and you take care.